Well, good morning. This is the Wake Up. You're with Michael Crosby, running for president 2024. To talk a little bit real quick about definitive evidence, about types of evidence, and the difference between this situation that we seem to have where we have criminals running for office throughout the country. We have criminals running for office throughout the country. So, now, the thing here is that we have situations where people have gone to prison. And this is very important to understand that these people said, hey, look, I'm innocent, and I wasn't even in the state. They're like, I wasn't even in the state. I was someplace else. And, it's kind of funny how all this works. The thing is about these people is that nobody seems to understand about checking evidence. So when you're dealing with people that are state AGs, state prosecutors, we're going to get to them in a minute, about what's wrong with the state AGs all over the country. But we track back, and you have these quasi cases where the evidence is really, really slim, but they convict people. You're every month you're hearing about another star that is a star player that ends up getting a super lawsuit because they put him in prison for 20 years. And you hear about the case, and these cases, they get to certain points where all of a sudden the evidence is just incredibly weak. But here's the bottom line. We have people that never bothered to use science. That's right. They never bothered to use science. Which science? Satellites. They never bothered to use satellites. So when the person says, yeah, they were out of state, and how did you get there? I drove this car. Okay. And all this other stuff. It's like these people, well, we can't verify your story. They're lying. They're lying. Anytime you drive a vehicle to another state and they're saying that they can't verify it, and you're trying to protect yourself from, the noose, execution, 20 years in prison, whatever, and they're saying they can't verify it, they're liars. Those prosecutors are liars. Because all you have to do is use satellite. You just use a satellite, you go, we did have some clouds. We'll use an optical satellite first. There's some clouds here. Help us out, bud. When were there not clouds? Oh, well, there were not clouds this one time I went into this certain gas station to get fuel. I don't remember the exact name of it, but it was along this highway, yada, yada. So you start checking around, all of a sudden, boop, you end up getting a lock on this vehicle. It doesn't matter that the optical satellite, which, by the way, is nothing like SAR, completely SAR, different technology, right through the clouds, boom, So, so you end up with verifying that this person, this vehicle, was in certain places out of state and at certain points in time. Now, what you do is you use an fMRI lie detector to verify this person's story. Here's another tool of science to help verify. It says, hey, man, I have no idea what you people are talking about at all. I have no idea. You put them in an fMRI, and guess what? They have no idea. They have no recollection of these events. They said they went to another state. The device says, yes, they went to another state. And the device will help them go over memories. You'll get all these neat little fragments. You can work with the fragments, get them more and more accurate. You can get more and more tuning each time. Remember, each time somebody revisits a device like an fMRI, that if you're looking at it, you keep recalibrating better and better and better. The information is going to get better and better and better. Most of the stuff that they show people is whether it could be used randomly on the quick. Again, this doesn't deal with if you put people in repeatedly and keep recalibrating and you get tighter and tighter. That means you're going to get better and better references of information. So, so you have all these people that are innocent. They did not commit a crime, but the prosecutions refused to use satellite technology, whether it's optical or SAR or fMRI lie detector technology. So what we have is a massive rash of crime nationwide, where innocent people are being railroaded each and every day. Under my administration, all of that ends. It completely ends. All these people that are innocent are going to be freed. They're going to be immediately financially compensated. This is something that is going to happen. So this is why there's a lot of people that don't like me. Prosecutors, a lot of prosecutorial people don't like me. Now, keep in mind there are many people that are prosecutors that do like me. And so, can you mention a bunch of them? No, I can't. That's the proverbial understanding that, yes, there are prosecutors that like me. I don't want to tell you which ones that did like me in the past. That's not necessarily the best thing to do. But see, the thing is that we have people constantly that have been railroaded in trials under this falsity that they can't afford to spend a certain amount of money. That's too bad. That's not our problem, because you're not investigating evidence properly. That means you're conspiring to put innocent people in prison when the technology was there all the time. You also have a huge, massive category involving stuff. For instance, like with COVID, nationwide with COVID, you have people that had their life shut down, and then they turned around, and you have people they can't recover, and they're impounding people's cars from them. We're talking about millions and millions of crimes committed by the state, basically. We're talking about illegal search, illegal seizure. These are all unconstitutional items. You're not to have your property taken from you until after proper processing would be done. And proper processing includes all sorts of scientific information, which the government doesn't use. So we have mass entrapment that has occurred all over the country. Mass entrapment, and people haven't been compensated. Again, under my administration, all of that ends. So we're going to put an end to all of these people. I mean, we basically have criminals running for office right now. I think people have noticed that we have criminals running for office. And these go places that you don't even necessarily know. I have I'm revealing all this evidence against various parties high in government in California. And this is going to be the end of these people's careers. These people have interfered with the process of elections. We have evidence against Harris. By definition, Harris is a criminal. She's a criminal. Her job basically is primarily doing what most prosecutors do, and that's run around and ruin people's lives. But no, the basic simplicity of many people as prosecutors is to simply do their job. Their job is, when you find these weird wackos that murder and mutilate people, you're supposed to put those people in prison. That's part of the normal job. That doesn't make you a hero. You didn't do the hero's work. They didn't do the field work. They're not a hero. This concept of people holding up prosecutors as though they're heroes is something that is almost the most ridiculous thing. Let me explain to you when prosecutors are heroes. Prosecutors that are heroes, Jack Smith, prosecutor, has to deal against fighting the most incredibly diabolically minded people that are out there. Jack Smith, hero. Jack Smith, hero, yes. There are some other brilliant minds out there that I think that have not necessarily been recognized, but could be recognized or could become heroes, so to speak, out there. And there's a lot of different people that are really, really talented. I mean, someone says, well, who you got anybody on the top of your list? It says, well, I've got some people I know I'd like to see do things. I'd like to see them included in things. I have prosecutions that I want to move forward involving what people have done. And big bahumba, and it's getting difficult to deal with finding enough of the right people. So I mean, Glenn Kirshner would be somebody I would choose. I would interview them. I would basically put them to work doing stuff, and I would make them into heroes. If they weren't considered heroes before, I would make them into heroes because I'd give them a chance to become heroes, to do something where they could fight these people who are using mind-boggling resources for darkness. And he could basically put those people away, Cases of people who are not heroes, false grandstanders, Harris. Harris is not prosecuting Trump. Harris is attacking people. Her record is attacking people that have been gathering evidence to fight people. That's who Harris is. Harris is a destroyer. Harris is, we don't want to prosecute these bad cops that you caught red-handed. That's Harris. I mean, there's I don't want to go into how many items are relative to the archive or somebody connected to the archive in which Harris's office basically aided and abetted criminals in getting away. That's a big item. I'd have to recover the entire archive to be able to point out how many exact instances. So I guess that's a motive for Harris to be against telling the truth, to be against the recovery of an archive. An archive that works on coming up with a definitive plan to say, yes, I've mentioned a few things on and off, and we're going to do something. We're going to bring SAR satellite technology into play. We're going to bring fMRI technology into play, and we're going to free anybody who's innocent because we can get at the definitive truth. And we're going to prosecute people that are guilty. We're going to prosecute people that are victims of entrapment, that had their vehicles stolen, that had their lives blacklisted, that lost their homes, their jobs, everything. We're going to be prosecuting people that basically do that stuff, which means what I'm going to be doing is prosecuting the prosecutors in many respects, along with these other people, because there's all these other people that are guilty that have to be prosecuted, that are a danger to society. They are a danger to humanity. So an archive with this kind of research is incredibly valuable in many ways to national security. There's a lot of ways it's valuable to national security, but this kind of information, when you start to come out with this on how these systems are going to work and how you're going to use AI-assistive systems and completely overhaul the justice system, is something that basically you would have people in government that would be diabolically opposed to this type of activity. So here I am, I'm on the cutting edge of the most advanced player. I am the most advanced candidate to run for the White House, as far as I can tell. My overall report card is massive. It's just massive. Nobody can even come close to touching it. AI repeatedly picks me as the best candidate for the presidency in the history of the world. History of the world. Mind-boggling, the things that I'm going to do and tell how, so this is what we have. We have people that under no circumstance do they want to talk about the cutting-edge things that are definitive. They do not want to talk about definitive truth. They don't want to talk about definitive science. Many of them actually don't want to talk about any real science at all. I've talked about the problem with the spread patterns. They pull perfectly good, proven cold remedy medicine off the shelf, leaving other styles behind, which, by the way, are far more dangerous on your liver and all this other stuff. And so all of a sudden, these so-called people that are supposed to be of forensics and science throw it all out the window because they want a grandstand. They want to create a grandstanding event. Again, that connects to Harris. Grandstanding event, stop people from reprocessing cold medicine into some kind of mix for their dope, or poor person's dope, or whatever the heck it is. It costs about 800% more to do it that way, if any of you are into scientific research. But they wanted to make a grandstanding event out of it. And you had people like me. I was one of the few people that would call them up and say, hey, look, you can't do this. You're going to kill people. You're going to kill a lot of people. You can't do this. The moment we have a pandemic hit, you're going to have thousands of people die. You can't do this. As we told these people in advance. As we told Harris, these people in advance. Well, the statistics, when you work out the numbers, the first year COVID, California, over 9,000 extra people dead. These people are dead because they could not get to adequate cold relief medicine. This would have dramatically stopped the spread pattern. This means that people would have had supplies in their office, in their car, at their home, and when symptoms started, they would have taken this stuff that would have just dried them all up, just totally dried them up, just totally relieved the number of coughs and dried up their sinuses. So and by the way, boosted their immune system. By the way, they took the immune boosting drugs off the shelf as well. We're talking about things that actually have a slight boost to your immune system. Do you need a slight boost to your immune system because you don't know and COVID's starting to kick in and hit you? You bet you need your immune system to be boosted. And these people, the audacity of these people to stand up there and just completely blatantly lie about scientific evidence, and you put it back in front of them. You did it beforehand. You put it in front of them beforehand. These people are such liars, and now these people are dead. They're dead. We got dead people. COVID, over 10,000 dead people, extra dead people in California, never needed to get done. These people still won't apologize for what they've done. They won't acknowledge it. They need to go to prison. They need to go to prison. It was pointed out to these people far in advance. Don't do this. You're going to get people killed. This type of criminal incompetence has to have people punished. These people have to go to prison for what they've done. We cannot perpetuate this kind of activity because they want to personally grandstand and create a big, huge falsity situation to try to make their careers move forward. That's who some of these people are. Despicable. And these people are dead. These people are dead. That vast numbers of people that are dead. And, it's just very upsetting to me to get to that point where when you see what these people have done, and these people were told, and they have, just look how stuff unfolds and how they're going to talk and they're going to dance around real science. Just watch the excuses they're going to make. And understand, these are people who don't care about your life. They didn't care about your life. Harris didn't care about your life, as she was a participant in the whole shebang about getting all of that stuff off the shelf. Yes, let's remove. Yeah, it's some incoming calls there. So, the audacity, when you look at all these people that are claiming to be professionals among prosecutors, and they're not listening to people of science. When they're saying, hey, look, you can't do that. You're going to get people killed. And we're not talking a couple of people. We've had COVID. Look what happened. We may have over 14,000 extra dead people just in California. Nationwide, I don't know that some states adopted exactly the same policies, but you're probably talking at least 25,000 more people dead because they removed cold medicine off the shelf. It's perfectly legitimate to sit there and go, my goodness, were there enough deaths to compare this to Vietnam? The horror of prosecutors to look away, to not protect your rights. The horror of AGs. The horror that we would have statistics that could compare to Vietnam. American citizens not having a clue that there are these evil people lurking that are going to claim that they're the highest end of science. The shame of what they've done to this nation to create so many dead people. Not even offer an apology. I mean, this is so inexcusable. Watch how these people dodge these questions. Watch how they dodge them. When the real truth comes up and they're busted red-handed grandstanding. And did they know? Did they not know? Were they incompetent? They couldn't figure it out. How about this one? They didn't care either way. They were just going to use this stuff as a forward momentum grandstanding event. That's who these people are. They don't care about your life. So when you think about attorney generals of states, you need to look at the bodies of people from Vietnam. You need to look at those mass numbers and understand that these people murdered people intentionally, that these people joined together to just remove quality cold medicines from the shelf. Effect? Vietnam. Because they wanted to grandstand. These people are monsters. This is another reason that AI identifies me as the number one candidate in the history of the world, is because what I'm going to do in overhauling and bringing logic and science back to the justice system, or actually in many ways, for the first time perhaps it's coming there. A lot of stuff will be coming there for the first time. But in some cases, we have things that never would have happened before. The concept that the concept that 150 years ago that you would want to ban any form of medication would be looked at, everybody in society would look strange and go, why would you want to ban medicine? What's wrong with you? Are you crazy? Are you crazy? This is what America would think. And we need to rethink the logic, that original constitutional logic, and ask ourselves, what have we done? Or what have we allowed to be done? I mean, some of us have been saying, excuse me, from the very beginning. There's some of us are saying, I want you to understand, I formally am not interested in being invited into a conspiracy where you're going to murder people. I mean, this is not I formally withdraw. It's, look, I refuse to be part of it. How dare you? How dare such ignorance? So here we have real solutions. With my campaign, you have real solutions. With these other people, it's like going to a circus and a bunch of clowns reach into big bags and grab some loose peanuts and just throw them all over the place on the ground, and everybody can jump down and pick up those loose peanuts. My campaign is not about being a clown throwing out peanuts. All these other people, that's what they're doing. Look at the percentages and the numbers. That's what they're doing. I'm the guy that says, look, let me help you out. I'm gonna help you get back to building your own home with your own hands. Everybody's included. I'm handing out homes. Well, I'm not handing out homes. I'm handing out the guarantee the guarantee that you're going to be able to get a loan to get your home built. And if you need expert advice, whatever you need, it's going to be there. It's encompassed right into the loan. Full guarantor, completion bond, insurance into this project. I'm the biggest lift in modern history to economics. I'm going to change all of your lives. You guys can keep running around with the clowns and the little bozos and the criminals, or you can step away from all that BS. Would you please just step away from all that BS? Come on over here and get with the sensible campaign. Michael Crosby for POTUS 2024.